This segment I um, titled it My Early Faith. And like I said before, I had pretty much grown up agnostic, but yet I was experiencing these events. And when I was 17 in the fall, I had a Volkswagen Squareback and was going down a hill one day and hit the brakes and they weren't there. And I was going to downshift and I was going downhill, but I saw a hill on the other side and I decided to gun it. So I upshifted and gunned it through the light to see if I could make it through the light. And a guy was behind a van, couldn't see me. He pulled his car out, gunned it fast like you would. Light turns green, boom, take off the mark. And clipped me in the front, tore my Volkswagen in half when we collided. I mean, there was nothing left of this half of the car. It was all wrapped around the back windshield. Excuse me, back tire. But it pulled the roof down and broke open my head, back of my head. And anyway, the next thing I knew, I was standing on the corner, and like first thought I had is, how did I just wreck a car and walk over here and nobody see it? And then I looked down at my hands and I realized I wasn't in my body, and I'm looking back at the car and I can see myself, laying over the steering wheel, and I pretty much thought I was dead. And they say the light or whatever, and so I could feel it. I turned this way and I saw it, and it was almost like right there I was given a choice. Okay, you can go that way, and I did want to go that way to investigate it, but then I thought, I might not make it back here, and I don't know that I'm done here yet. So it was almost like I was given a choice. So I decided to go see if I could go, like in my mind I was thinking wake myself up or something. And so the minute I decided that, I stepped off the curb and I just shot um, into my body and woke up. And everybody was surrounded around me. They all screamed and jumped back. And then I fainted again, woke up in the hospital, and they were sewing my head back together. And so that kind of rattled me pretty big time. Oh, well, there's some life after death. And wow, what is it? So I went around reading all kinds of things on philosophy and religions and different things, and ended up in a situation where I wanted to move out on my own. We were living in Springfield. My parents had gotten divorced, and I was living in Springfield with my mom and my sister, and just wasn't very comfortable there, and was wanting to move out on my own. I took a job in a bakery working for a guy who was actually the uncle of the first girl, this first person that I met, um, who had started taking me to church, and it was her uncle, and she had referred me to him, and I'd gotten a job in this bakery and was able to afford to move out on my own. So I moved out on my own and worked in that bakery. And he was a Catholic guy, and he talked to me a lot about the Lord. And one day, after a couple of years, he brought in this book, and it was on people that had life after death experiences. And I'd never heard of that before, and I hadn't told anybody about what had happened to me. They're again afraid, what do people think, and I don't need the conversation. So, but he's stating he believed this kind of thing happened. So he was the first person I opened up to about it, and I told him, I said, hey, I think that might have happened to me, and I told him the story, and he really started sharing his faith with me, and I started coming around to understanding who Jesus was, and there was a guy next door. There was a Get and Go store next door, and I used to go over there and talk to him about faith. And between the two of them, they were the main witnesses that brought me into really believing that the Lord was real. And one night in Get and Go, about 3 o'clock in the morning, I was off work. I just went down there to visit him, and Denny, and he led me to the Lord that night, and I was baptized in the Holy Spirit. And it was a radical experience, and I just obviously very grateful for that. But it also intensified the things that were happening to me, the dreams, the visions. It all just hit a huge multiplier, and I started like, wow, I couldn't handle it before. I didn't know what to do then, and it was really hitting. And I got involved with the Chi Alpha group up at the college, and met some people from Bozeman there who, there again, had a light on them, and I knew I needed to stay connected, and eventually I came to visit with them. And that's kind of the beginning of days of my faith.